This is the MLW Radio Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. Cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I am your tour guide, Josh Shernoff, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, what's on your mind?
I am doing swimmingly well, my friend. How are you?
I'm if I was any better, I'd be you.
That's not saying much.
So you tell me, am I doing really poorly, or what's happening?
Doing all right if, you lack sleep and, you have a newborn. Well, sort of a newborn. I keep forgetting your kid happened a couple months ago, but...
Dude, my newborn is going to be 1 year old in 2 weeks.
Jesus. Where's... I said it, and then I was like, man, where's... That was like, okay. And
it's insane.
I started...
I
started
when you were
doing
like,
the
you have a
Alan
newborn, I'm like, yeah, I do. He
I
still
started
sleeps
going,
like one.
I start doing that Alan from the Hangover thing where they show him thinking and all the numbers. I had to do some quick fucking math on that one.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And he actually, his birthday's on the 18th.
Nice.
And some of my family will be visiting the following week. Will be coming to visit. They've never met him. So that's crazy. And then I'm going to be he'll be meeting more family in August. We're going to go see some other family. So yeah, this is something, it's an amazing thing what this apocalypse has done. Because you never would have like, if this was like my first two kids, and if I had said to my mom, hey, things are working out, whatever, I don't know if you're going to be able to even meet them until they're 2 weeks old. It would be like the end of the world. How is this possible? We can't do this. How am I not there for this baby? And then here you go. I have a kid, and I mean, not that it's been easy on anyone, but it's just, it's nuts, man.
God bless, man.
Yeah.
It seems like all my friends are having fucking kids, and I keep hearing the same thing. It's like, man, I miss sleep,
Dude, I have not had a good night's sleep, like a uninterrupted night's sleep I want to say in 6 years, because since my daughter was born, because it was just 6.5 years at this point, because, kids don't there's always, by the time you get the one, then you have the other one. So they're all, going crazy. But I'm going this week as we're recording this. I'll be down in Atlantic City, your old stomping grounds. Producing a thing for Fight at the Showboat, which would be pretty cool. The coolest part is probably that I'm going down by myself, and I may finally get, for the first time, and I don't know how long, I might get a good night's sleep. So, this really is the first time that I've gone through this with one of my kids, because I was always traveling for work or doing something with the other ones. So I never went an entire year where I was with them. And I mean, I'm really lucky in that regard, but it'll be interesting, man. But yeah, kids, dude, say goodbye to sleep. You look in the mirror, you go, it's been a year. How did I age 40 years? We were doing, saying off air, we did Talking with Friends, available at youtube.com/mindofthemeanie. We did that last night, and it just dropped as we're recording this on a Friday. And one of the things at the end, the theme throughout it was talking about this trip we did when we went to Canada in 2002.
Blame Canada.
Yeah. But at the end, I was kind of like, what's everyone's reflections on it? And Calvin and Matt, they both brought up kind of like a really interesting of like advice to anyone listening who doesn't have kids and isn't, and is at the point in their lives, late teens, early 20s where we were. Like, you get an opportunity to go take a trip with your friends or something, do it. Because that's really, like, we don't have that opportunity now. And so Meanie, you've made some good choices, I think. But I have to. It's worth every lack of sleep second. I can't even put a sentence together. But yeah.
Yeah, like last night I couldn't sleep because I was binge watching, Mayor of Easttown. But other than that,
you tweeted that it was really good, right?
Yeah, it was really good. And again, I'm unapologetically a Philly homer, and it was filmed like 10 minutes south of here, in Delco, as we say, Delaware County, or Delco, as the regulars say.
Did you see the Saturday Night Live skit about it?
I did. Yeah.
My wife was in tears laughing, and her family, she has a lot of family, and she grew up in Delco. Yeah. I did not. I was a Monco guy, as they call it. But so I could appreciate it because people, but she appreciated it because it was like her life. And the best part was the line where they're like, "That's your the granddaughter or whatever," and the granddaughter, and they're like, "How old are you?" And she's like, "I'm a Philly 40." It was just, it's fantastic. But
dude, for those listening at home, like if you're from Philly, Delco's like it. I mean, it's part of Philly. It's not part of Philly, but I mean, it's just like this own planet where like you go from South Philly accent to almost like a borderline Minnesota accent.
It's really weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go get a hoagie down at the Wawa. Yeah. My asshole daughter. Have you ever seen Aunt Mary, Pat?
No.
As a character on Facebook and does the perfect Delco accent. It's amazing. I was like, they should have hired Aunt Mary Pat as a
dialect coach.
Dialect coach, either that or Tina Fey. That would be great. Man. But show is really good, man. I was watching it. I was like, what's it remind me? If you ever saw the movie Mystic River with Sean Penn, it's kind of got that vibe. And then I said that on Twitter, and somebody even brought up a even better point. Well, just as good point. It's like Mystic River meets True Detective, kind of. And I'm not going to look. If you haven't watched it, I'm not going to go into details and spoil it. But I will say I love it for the fact that it was shot right here and
right here in
beautiful Delco. But oh my God, it's like take a shot for every local Philly reference they make. It's pretty good.
Did you ever see the TV show Psych?
No.
All right, it's.
I wanted to, but I'm a cord cutter, so
yeah. It is so well. No, I mean it's all you can get it.
I'm sure, but
Peacock now. But it is so good, and every once in a while they still bring back some like movies for and stuff. But Mystic River was such like a moving film, But then they did one episode where they just every time someone was running in, they're imitating Sean Penn with is that my daughter in there? Is that my daughter? And every time something out, they would just keep doing it every character. So now I can't think of or see the other movie without laughing at a horrible scene that is not supposed to invoke laughter.
But when I saw Mystic River in the theater, that it was a moving scene when Sean Penn's just losing his shit. Mm-hmm. And you know what also got me is Sean Penn in that movie and that character reminds me of a relative of him. I had an Uncle Jimmy. He just recently passed away, but he reminded me of my Uncle Jimmy to the T, even down to the nose. It's I'm looking, I'm like, that's fucking Uncle Jimmy. But Yeah, just and there's a kind of like a scene like that in Mayor of Easttown. You know, I'm not saying that like, oh, they ripped off Mr. No, it's along that vibe. It's a little cloudy, you know, like not like a murky, depressing show, because there's actually a lot of funny parts in the show too. But yeah, there's the characters are so good. They're so relatable. There's people on that show that I was like, oh yeah, I know somebody like that. You know, being from Philly and stuff like that. But, you know, there's like a Yingling and Wawa Cup in every shot. And, yeah, it's pretty cool. And then, like, you know, I read an interview with Kate Winslet where she was like, you know, like Wawa was like this majestic place that she had always heard about. And then when she finally got to walk through the doors of a Wawa, I was like, oh.
Man, if only she would have been there in the 90s.
Oh my God!
It was.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Wawa, I feel like they ride on this reputation that was made decades ago, because Wawa in the early '90s was unrecognizable to what it is today. I mean, it was the food you would get then, and I'm a little biased because it was my family's coleslaw and potato salad and macaroni salad and all that stuff.
Yes,
but But in general, I just remember the sandwiches were like just out of this world, man. They were amazing. That was like, I would go down the shore and we were walking distance where we stayed. We were walking distance to a Wawa, and we would go and I'd get like a big ass hoagie, like turkey hoagie with extra hoagie. And then I'd grab it. I'd snap into a Slim Jim. All the time, and no, man, it was good times. And now there's stuff just I'm just not a fan.
It would be there'd be no reason at like 2 a.m. after leaving the bar go to Wawa and get a meatball hoagie.
Yeah,
you know, one of my favorite stories that I tell is like you know, around 2004, 2005, I was newly single from my previous train wreck, and me and the guys went out, and then the next day I woke up and I had a 2-foot Wawa hoagie on my fucking lap. I'm sitting in my lounge chair with a 2-foot Wawa hoagie on my lap, and there's a tomato like on my left pec, if you want to call it that, left chest area. And I wake up, I look down, and go, oh, tomato, and I just after I tied one on, you know, it was either that or go to South Street and get wasted on dollar PBRs, and you know, go to Lorenzo's and get a couple slices, and you wake up the next morning and you got Lorenzo's box on the floor, and you're like, ah.
It's an either or situation there.
Oh yeah, you can't lose either way. But yeah, I agree with the Wawa. It's dude, I remember when I was a kid in the 80s, and they had like commercials on the TV, and they had like a jingle, and there's always that thing like Wawa was always like the grocery store, but now it's become this thing where it's a super grocery store, a super gas station now.
Yeah.
And then if you're in Pennsylvania, or if you've driven through Pennsylvania, there's Wawa, and then there's Sheetz.
Right, and Sheetz is not really. They don't have those around us, really. Like
there's one maybe like an hour from here.
Yeah,
like
we'll hit it like when we drive to Florida to visit family and stuff. We'll hit Sheetz.
Yeah, but there's like this rivalry between people who like Wawa and people who like Sheetz, and it's almost like, you know, turf war. It's like, you know, when the newsman and anchorman were battling, you know, just this cheesy, corny war. You know?
Sheetz. I think Sheetz offers more than Wawa does in some ways. One thing that they have there that I get every time, and I'm always like, I'm not going to get it this time. It's too sugary for me, but it's they have basically like a slushy cup filled with little fruity Pebble Rice Krispie treat bites.
Nice.
And dude, I could eat Fruity Pebbles every day for the rest of my life, every meal. I love Fruity Pebbles. And that
we just had a Fruity Pebbles coffee creamer.
Was it good?
It was good. It actually tasted better than it tasted more like Fruity Pebbles than Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, dude, who makes it? Like, was it like a Fruity Pebbles brand?
No.
Or was it like a? Well, that's what I'm saying. Was it like like fruity rice flavor, or was it Fruity Pebbles?
Oh, it's Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, like it was supposed. Like it said the Fruity Pebbles.
Coffee.
Like,
oh yeah.
oh damn.
Let me text a friend.
I was gonna say the one good thing. Yeah, do a little phone a friend situation here because I need to know. Another thing about Wawa though that is amazing is their coffee, and I think they beat everybody on their coffee. Their coffee is so damn good.
Who's that? Wawa.
Wawa.
Yeah. I just had the dark roast today, which is
I always
really
do.
good.
Is that your go-to?
Well, the cool thing about Wawa is you can make your own coffee. So I'll take a little bit of dark roast and then I'll slide on down and have some hazelnut.
See, I do the dark roast and French vanilla.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Then I put the French vanilla creamer in there, and then I go take a sheets. But it's good stuff. Hey, I want to get to ask.
Real quick, before we get to that, because that's important too. The Fruity Pebbles creamer was by International Delight.
International.
And we got it at ShopRite.
I know where I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah, man. It was really good.
All right.
Yeah, it was more Fruity Pebbles than actual Fruity Pebbles.
How much did you put in? Like, were you very...
Not much.
Okay, I was going to say...
Like we're a black coffee household here. We drink our coffee black like our fucking hearts. Mm-hmm. So it's it came from years of just being stopped. We were tired of being disappointed by the fucking people making our coffee, because the people making our coffee at Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's probably never drink coffee in their everyday lives. So they put what they thought was what I wanted in there, and it's like, dude, I said a little bit of cream.
Yeah.
Please, it is more milk than there's more cream to coffee. But so we made a vow to each other, fuck it, we're just drinking black coffee from now on. So, but we saw that.
Oh,
we're like, oh,
you got to do that.
Gotta.
That's amazing.
You gotta. So,
well, thank you for.
We went through that.
I'm gonna look that up and get it. Andy Slichter had a question, and I don't want to forget it. So we're not doing this. Isn't Ask Meanie yet. This is not the Ask Meanie segment. But he had a question from last week, and I want to, and it got deleted when we came back because we had our Beware of Dog situation. Well, here we are redoing the match the next night on Raw. So Andy Slichter writes,
bring it, Savio.
Favorite venue to wrestle at in the greater Reading, PA area, and have you wrestled at the famous Hamburg Fieldhouse?
I have wrestled at the Hamburg Fieldhouse. Yeah, and I don't know I guess that's the greater Reading area.
I don't.
So I would have to say that, because anytime I really wrestled in Reading was at for ECW. And it was at the Body Slams Arena, which was basically over a tattoo shop and a car garage kind of thing. And that was cool, too. But I don't think that was really known for wrestling. But to wrestle in the Hamburg Fieldhouse, talk about, a bucket list moment from my childhood.
Well, tell anyone listening who's not familiar with the area, tell them why that's such an important venue.
Well, that's where WWF or WWF did TV, and the most notable event that happened in the Hamburg Fieldhouse was Piper hitting Snook over the head with the coconut,
which we've talked about.
Yeah,
where he ran out that door, right, and then you checked it out.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god, that's the door Piper hit in. And I went in there. It was just like a shitty bathroom. It's
and it was worse after you left.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Now, how do you go into that bathroom and not take a shit when you know that that's such a special, piece of history?
Yeah, that's a thing you got to do when in Hamburg. No, but seriously, like at the Hamburg Fieldhouse, like so much cool shit happened there, and I think a lot of people who watch the tapes from back in the day, you could easily blur the Hamburg Fieldhouse from downtown fairgrounds, kind of the way it was filmed.
For me,
very
yeah,
similar.
it's tough to. I don't know which was. I mean, I knew that they did both.
Yeah,
but
and which I got to do both, which is awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's very cool.
But yeah, I would, to answer that question, since you brought up the Hamburg Fieldhouse, how are you going to top that, really?
Man, very cool. We'll get to some more Ask Meanie questions later on.
Sorry
show.
about the technical difficulties we had last week too.
Yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed the sound effect that I added in though. But man, what a pain in the ass that was, and it was.
This weather's just been so goofy.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was from a storm. Then I'm like, I think it might be because my computer was unplugged. Like, I don't. I'm on a laptop for people going, well, if your computer was unplugged, it wouldn't be on. But yeah, it's a laptop.
They're called Spinal Tap moments for a reason.
Yep. But here's the best part. Before we go on the air, and that happens last week, I'm talking to Meanie about how I've just been given like multiple live broadcasts for Fight to do. And I'm like, dude, between us, man, I'm a little nervous that this equipment is going to just crap out on me. Like, everything's been running smoothly, but I'm kind of worried. Like, this is not the time when you're doing live broadcast for, because I'm going to be doing a Fight and Focus, and then I'm doing producing the weigh-in. And, it's a whole other thing being on the other side of it, which in a lot of ways I prefer, because it's not there's far less to memorize and be on camera, and, doesn't matter how I look. But on the other side, look, it's your responsibility whether or not the show is going to come off well. And I'm like, I'm sure it'll be fine. And then that happens. So I'm like, but yeah, hey, what can you do? You know what else happens? People get fired. And a lot of people got fired this week. And,
sadly, unfortunately.
And a lot of people, you had your fans that I would say the majority were very positive of just like, hey, can't wait to, like, instantly the internet is flooded with, like, people are so pumped and excited for, like, Aleister Black's run in AEW, and they love what he's doing with Dark Order, and then they're like, oh, but I love it. And it's like, whoa, pump the brakes, man. Who knows where he's going? But I've seen like a whole thing where people are just like, oh man, that would be amazing. Oh no, he needs to be Tommy End. He needs to be the Butcher, the Blade, the End. He needs to be with them. And then people are like, oh, that's it. That's what he's got to do. And like, oh man, can you imagine? That's going to be badass. It's like, dude. So people were really excited. And I find it to be fascinating, Meanie, that I think that speaks to where wrestling is today, because a few years ago when people were cut from WWE, that post-WrestleMania cut and all that, it was just like, oh, man, that really sucks. And then done. Right. But now there's so many options, so many places where people can work, that it's almost, from a fan's point of view, we're all like, this is exciting. Braun Strowman, holy crap, we didn't think we'd see him anywhere but WWE forever. So, man, I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. Possibly not quite as exciting for the individuals who were released, but I'm sure they're all going to land on their feet. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking about everything that happened? And then I want to talk to you about what you think this could all mean.
Well, dude, getting fired sucks. I mean, they say getting released, but getting fired, and you're an independent contractor, so you're not really getting fired. But but it always sucks. I've been there twice with the same company within a year. I got released, they brought me back, and then they released me again. It sucks, and you never want to say you're happy that somebody got released, but like you said, there's so many options now between AEW, Impact. Let's not forget about Ring of Honor. They're still viable.
MLW, great podcast
network. Our family network here. There's so many options. It sucks to get released, but like, they're going to go somewhere. They're going to go shine. reestablish themselves. Like, for instance, one of my proteges, Steve Macklin, his vignette aired on Impact, this recent Impact, and I'm excited to see what he does because he's got a great mind, and it seemed like every time they're about to do something with him, it just stalled, which seems to be the story with a lot of talent in WWE. And you know what? I know I've been rough on Impact recently, but that's just like me being disappointed that TNA Impact had a chance to be the alternative, and then they tried to be the next WWE.
Impact is not TNA anymore. Impact, I'm not really a fan of a lot of their stuff. I feel like their storylines are incredibly convoluted. I always feel like while it's a weekly episodic program, as we're always told, while I always feel like that's the what it is, like any television show, people need to be able to jump in. And especially when you're talking about a show that's been on for as many years as an Impact or, of course, a WWE or something, you need to be able to bring your new viewers in and make them feel like, okay, I'm picking up on this. I'm getting this. Every week should be kind of reintroducing. WWE, they always joke about on Something to Wrestle, the pronouns pal and all that stuff. But there's a reason for that, if you really think about it. Vince McMahon's insistence that you call the person by their name. Yeah. You don't know, for a number of different reasons, but a big one is who knows who just tuned in for the first time ever, right? Blue Meanie's wrestling, and you're out there, and I've never heard of the Blue Meanie. I've never really watched wrestling. Maybe I watched it 10 years ago, maybe whatever, and I'm looking, well, right off the bat, you got the blue hair, you've got the look, you've got my attention, right? But if I'm watching the whole thing and they're like, and he's doing this and he's doing that and, all that, and they're not putting your character over, which is why commentating is so damn important. If they're not putting your character over, like I might just be like, I don't know who that dude was. So then what am I going to do? Go tell a friend like, oh, you should have seen there's this weird dude with blue hair. Like, no, you want to be like, there was this guy, the Blue Meanie, and you want to be able to tell the whole story of who that character is just from the one match, It's not like there's an app, like if you hear a song on the radio, you put the app up to the radio and it tells you. There's no app to put your phone up to the TV and
they
hear
goes,
the
that's
bump,
wrestler.
And they go, what's that? Oh, that sounds like knees on the Sandman's rib cage. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but for somebody like you, every time you went out there and you were a guy who, as we've talked about, and is now featured on our action figure, you'd put your social media stuff on the back of your shirt. But
so much so that Stephanie McMahon mentioned it to me. She was like, I see you've been putting your website on your shirt there. How would you like to incorporate your website into WWE? And then Steve Blackman ruined that conversation.
I say, it was pretty much this is what it was. Meanie, picture all the money you can make from a website. Now picture it going to us instead. Is that something you might be interested in doing? But no. So I don't know. I think it's so important. When you would like come out there, like you had these people putting you over. They always talk about the commentators putting them over, and putting over doesn't mean that they're like saying you're the greatest thing in the world or all that. Like putting over is get that character across. Let people know who it is, and that's my issue with Impact, and that's why I thought Impact in AEW was not a good idea. Love the Kenny Omega storyline. Don't get me wrong. It's cool.
It wasn't good for AEW. That's for sure.
Made no sense, right? I liked
AEW has momentum, and it's kind of like they're slowing down to help their friend who doesn't walk as quick catch up to them.
And see, so that's the weird thing. Like to me, I love the idea of like the Good Brothers in AEW. Kenny Omega is the heel, Don Callis by his side. I love the whole idea of that. The Impact thing didn't really make it doesn't make any sense to me. And I know there is some good stuff going on over at Impact. I know like Brian Myers is doing some great stuff.
I love
character-driven stuff, and it's really good. And they just announced that I believe in July they'll be returning to having fans. And that to me is I will be tuning in because that's the opportunity to grab us all back. And that's, I think, when WWE tours in July, I think everybody needs to, like that, I think there's going to be a huge spike in the ratings for that Raw. You know, for the first Raw or SmackDown that has an audience. I just fear WWE is just going to freaking blow it. You know, it's going to be a terrible show, and it's not going to hit home for anybody, but
they got to ditch that third fucking hour, man.
I'm cracking this open, by the way, because I saw you drinking yours already. So
yeah, I couldn't. I apologize. I couldn't wait. I got my LaCroix key lime here.
I got my
sorry.
extra large aha.
I noticed those. I noticed those.
2 for the price of 1. Buy one, get one free. A little BOGO, if you will, over at Wawa right now.
At the Wawa.
At the Wawa. You can get one for your brother. You can get one for your daughter.
Your daughter. Hey, not to get off topic, but I had the Rock's energy drink this week.
How was it?
Very good.
Yeah, I haven't had it yet. I really want to, but I haven't had it yet.
There's a couple like vitamin shops in the area that sell them. If you don't want to, so if you could buy one, like a couple Lucy's to see what you like in case you want to order a case.
Yeah, no, that's smart. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, the lemon lime was the winner for me. I had the lemon lime, the orange crush, and the regular. And dude, like, we'll get back to Impact, but the lemon lime, sugar free. I'm blanking on the name of the product, which is a shitty sales pitch. But well, they're not paying me, so fuck it. I got a buzz from that drink that coffee hasn't given me in years, which was pretty cool. So
mental buzz or physical buzz or both? Just
a physical buzz. I felt like I had more energy, like legit.
Wow.
I'm not being paid to say this or anything like that, you know. But it was really good. So
all right, I'm gonna check that out.
And the reason why I brought that up is because somebody told me they sold them at Wawa, so I've been going to every Wawa looking for it.
Nah, I haven't seen it.
And I had to do the Google, you know, where is this drink near me? And it said the vitamin shop, so I just went to the vitamin shop. So
hey, I do want to give a shout out to Liam Savage. Writes, woohoo, finally made it for the first live stream in ages. Good to see you guys. Good to see you, Liam. Felt like I thought that, you know, you forgot about us, but also forgot to cancel your Patreon membership. So I was like half upset, but also very grateful.
Remind them.
No, man, glad you're here.
I'm glad you're here, buddy.
Great opportunity just to thank all of our Patreon members for being here. Hey, if you haven't joined Patreon yet, you really should. Patreon.com/mindofthemeanie. We're having a blast over there, and most of our fun times are either in the beginning or end of when we're filming these, or when we do those Zoom calls, man. Those are a lot of fun. We used to enjoy the watch-alongs, but those are less enjoyable thanks to Peacock. But, Meanie, all of that is to say, I'm putting you on the spot right now. All right, I'm going to ask you a question. This answer, I'm preparing you. This answer.
Let me take
a drink.
Get a sip.
This answer could very well land on several different days of news on Wrestling Inc. Blue Meanie, is the WWE getting ready to be sold? And if so, to whom?
My prediction is that the WWE will be sold to Amazon.
Oh.
Think about it. Now, do I know this? No, but dude, they're dumping a bunch of salary, and they signed $2 billion deals each for Fox, Peacock. They're dumping salary to show a higher profit margin. So when they go to sell it, they're like, "Oh, look at all this money we made." Now, the reason why I say Amazon, I see, like, you look at the news, and all these people are clamoring to buy content. Yeah. You know, MGM bought this or that, or, you know, Disney bought this or that. Imagine if you're Amazon, not only, I mean, right now, Peacock has the rights to stream the network, and Fox has the right to the thing. But if you're Amazon and you're the sole person who could sell WWE T-shirts, mugs, and all that stuff, and not have to pay a licensing fee to the WWE, you could be the sole licensee to sell T-shirt, WWE merchandise. Just that alone would be worth it. And then who's to say once those deals run out, with Peacock and stuff like that in a couple years, maybe some of the content slowly, gradually goes over to Amazon. And then down the line, if the Peacock deal runs out, all the content goes to Amazon Prime. You can still keep the Fox deal because that's just live TV. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, Amazon, they're their prime target because they own everything from Whole Foods to they're getting into, if you want your medicine. If you want your medicine.
Mm-hmm, they're going to be starting, which tanked the stock of Rite Aid, CVS, and Walgreens when that was announced that they were getting into the game. And then let's not forget the $8.4 billion acquisition of MGM.
Yes.
That Amazon just did. And I bring that to you from an article.
I knew MGM was bought, but there's been so many moves. It's kind of like the 3-card Monty. Which one went where and stuff like that.
So there was this article, okay?
Yes.
That I stumbled upon. Babyfacevheel.substack.com. Somebody, I don't know what this is, but somebody tweeted it, and I looked at it.
Sure.
But they were quoting this thing, this Mike Hopkins, Senior Vice President of Prime Video and Amazon Studios, was quoted about the value of the MGM film library. And he said MGM has a vast catalog with more than 4,000 films. He lists all of them. And then he goes on to say, the real financial value behind this deal is the treasure trove of IP in the deep catalog that we plan to reimagine and develop together with MGM's talented team. Right?
Right.
So a source told Front Office Sports Michael McCarthy, who did a piece on whether or not the WWE would be sold or whatever. The source said, who did not want to be named, at first glance, WWE's a wrestling company, but it's really a media content company with a treasure trove of IP that appeals to young demos.
Mm-hmm.
So this article was basically going, wait a second, a treasure trove of IP? The same thing that the Senior Vice President of Prime Video and Amazon Studios, Mike Hopkins, said about the acquisition of MGM and why it was so important, saying that the real value was the treasure trove of IP. And then this anonymous source talking about WWE is saying, well, they're not just a wrestling company. They have this treasure trove of IP. And that was this person. And it made me think of it. And I looked it up when you were talking because that was their saying, hey, who knows? But that kind of leans towards maybe Amazon's having a conversation.
Yeah, they could be the dark horse in this. And they're trying to do everything. They got their own shows during an NFL season. They do Thursday night football games, for Prime.
Unbelievable.
They want content, and everybody. Right now, it's like the arms race. Back in the day, there's an arms race, and now everybody's in an arms race for content because. Who knows if cable TV goes bye-bye, the traditional, hook a cable into run cable into your house and all that stuff. Maybe you just need an internet connection and you can have cable wherever you want.
And so you go, well, why does everybody want content? Well, it's pretty simple. What if you can only afford 2 out of the 10 streaming services?
Yep.
You sure as hell want to be the one that had. Why do you think they spent so much money HBO Max for Friends? Nobody thinks to themselves, Friends, oh man, well, you're thinking HBO. Like, no, they, at first glance, you wouldn't even think that that's a brand that HBO would give a damn about. But.
And Fresh Prince.
They're grabbing up what they can. And it's really amazing to see what's happening. And it really raises the question of what's going to happen with the Peacock network. What's going to happen with the WWE. I mean, obviously you would assume, and here's the other side of it. your first thought is like, well, why would Amazon want it? The Peacock network Peacock has all this stuff. Peacock has the U.S. rights. That's it.
Right.
So Amazon could grab up the worldwide outside of the U.S. rights, which I know us in the U.S. hate to, admit the fact that there's a world outside of the United States, but it's pretty damn big. And, yeah. And so, you look at that and you think, well, Amazon might look and go, all right, so we'll go get all this international stuff and then we'll pick up when the Peacock deal's done, Yeah.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, we also bought a company that Peacock is paying I'm on board with you about Amazon because I was talking with my brother Fred the other day and we were talking about Disney because a lot of people are throwing out Disney. Right. And his feeling was that, and it was a really interesting point. His thought was like at first, like I could see that. I could see, because I was saying, people are talking about you go to have the Undertaker, you take a picture with a guy dressed like the Undertaker at a theme park,
right.
It's a possibility. Where else would be a great place to have a physical WWE Hall of Fame than inside a theme park? Right. There's a lot of possibilities, but his one issue with it was the Saudi deal. In his opinion, Disney wouldn't touch it unless they could get out of it. And maybe they could get
And what is the deal? How long is that?
it was a 10-year deal.
Wow.
But again, how is this deal structured? Does the deal have to be absorbed if it's sold? That's way above my pay grade. But I do agree that a company like Disney is not going to get into bed with the Saudi government doing stuff like that.
And look at the way Peacock has tried to clean the WWE library. They've gone through and they're scrubbing content, that they find objectionable. What the fuck would Disney do with that content?
I mean, Disney, they've been cutting out their stuff from cartoons, right? That were racially insensitive, and hey, more power to them. But what I'm saying is, they've been, they're cutting out their own stuff. Yeah, Disney's it's whatever's left. They're just gonna be like, skinning them at that point. Like, there's no meat left on the bone. So
it kind of reminds me of the. What was it? Mad TV skit of when The Sopranos gets put on regular TV and they cut out the curses. And it's just like every other word, you hear Tony Soprano say I can only imagine what Disney would do to WWE, which to me would make more sense why Amazon would take it because they don't give a shit. They just want content.
Well, there's that, but then it's also, if like a Disney looks at it and says, well, we can take this brand to a whole new level, then they don't really care. They're cutting it down. And WWE, listen, WWE couldn't care less. They want to see how many zeros are on the check. And guess what?
Right.
It's called the wrestling business for a reason. It's business. But I've never met Vince McMahon. I mean, I know you guys are old fishing pals. But what is your thought on this? Because, I mean, we have all heard that Vince McMahon is going to, he's going to die in Gorilla. Like, that's you know what I mean? Like, that's, if everything goes as planned for him, you know what I mean? Like, that's his work ethic, second only to Dave Meltzer, but his work ethic.
Right,
is such that I think Vince McMahon would love to die in the gym or die at his desk, Or
imagine WWE being sold and they keep Vince on as an employee of sorts, where he runs the business, kind of like, I wish, Turner bought, WCW. He should have let the Crockett's just keep running it the way it was, and it could have been.
McMahon is an absurdly large shareholder a controlling shareholder. So what happens with that when they sell the company?
That's out of my fucking mental. Now it's I'm going back into Alan land from Hangover, just not a short circuit.
Well, I'm just wondering because the only thing that I could see, I don't think the McMahons care about much more than, and I'm speaking in generalizations. They care about the company. They care about that. But what I'm saying is
I think they care about their legacy.
They care about their legacy, but they also care about money and they also care about power. And I think that's, talking about Vince, Stephanie, Triple H. And by the way, that's not a bad thing. No. I'm not saying this as a negative. I'm saying in my opinion. So I look at it and go, is Triple H and Stephanie, who are prime and ready to take over WWE at
Amazon
some point?
Prime.
Right. Are they, Triple H has his baby NXT, like, are they really going to be like, yeah, we should sell. We'll all make a few $1 billion. That'll be great. And then I guess we'll be able to just get bumped right out of the wrestling business if we want to. Like, because that could happen. You could see a WWE 5 years from now where Triple H and Stephanie are gone.
Yeah.
Because they've been, or Vince McMahon is gone. And then, but does that, but then what? Then does Triple H start his own wrestling promotion?
I was just about to say that. It's kind of like The Godfather. Once I think I was out, they sucked me back in. I think Triple H is a lifer. Haven't been around him, listened to him talk about the business in private.
A lifer if they'll let him be there. But God, look at WCW. Look what happened with WCW when you had a company that did that wrestling was just a piece of the pie, no matter how successful it was.
I think he can be an executive somewhere. He could be doing something. Or like you say, you get out of WWE and you get the fucking itch like, oh, man, it feels like a limb's missing. Let me go do something.
But I just feel like they would never want to do something and lose their legacy. To that point, ECW was born out of the absence of the tri-state, on a much smaller scale. No, but sure.
ECW was born out of the ashes of the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, where a lot of the people who were behind the scenes of Tri-State were like, man, I really missed the thrill of running fucking shows. And then there was a meeting at the ECW office between Todd Gordon, Bob Ortiz, Lex Ortiz, and Larry Winters, and the idea for ECW was born. And then it eventually morphed and became what it was. But like I could see Triple H, like, they buy somebody buys WWE, Vince or Stephanie, Stephanie and Triple H, Vince are out, and Triple H is at home, lifting weights, going, yeah, but man, running shows is so much, I miss it, kind of thing, So.
I think, God, like, first of all, Triple H and it's one of those things where you look like Triple H and Stephanie, and God, if you're Tony Khan and Triple H and Stephanie are all of a sudden leaving, you got to be thinking, I wouldn't mind giving them a call. Hey, you guys want to put your heads together and come on over here? But then there's another question, right? Let's say Triple H and Stephanie, they stay there. They're running the company. Vince is running the company, because that would be the smart thing. You buy it. You want to bring the McMahons with you. You want to bring, that family with. So that's more likely what's going to happen. It's more looking at like a 10, 15, 20 years down the line.
They're the ambassadors, they're the ambassadors to keep
Right.
the shop running.
But my concern is more, like I said, a couple decades, as Dave LaGreca would say, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65 years from now. Did you see that clip? It was
vaguely,
amazing. I'm going to send it to you because it was amazing. And I also showed it on So Says Shernoff. It was so good. But down the line, a couple decades from now, you've got new people coming in, people who are not involved in making the deal. Let's say it's Amazon, right? Not involved with Amazon buying WWE. They're new people in charge, and they're going and saying, well, we've got this great vision for it, and I think what we need is a little less of these old wrestler people. Let's get rid of this Paul Levesque guy and get rid of, anyone McMahon and all that. It can happen, and so...
It happens in sports,
Yeah, yeah.
You hire a new coach. He gets rid of everything that was related to the past coaching staff and brings in his boys.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And then... There's my other question on it. You mentioned ECW. WWE owns the rights to ECW. They own the rights to WCW. They own all of this content. There's video content, but there's also copyright. There's also names. Some have lapsed, and when they do, gimmick attorney jumps right on that and grabs them up for people. But you look at it, and you have to wonder... Amazon, let's say, does this. Let's say they buy WWE. Is there a chance that we could see the return of WCW? Could we see the return of ECW? Where Amazon isn't Vince McMahon. They're not in charge. This isn't WWECW. Maybe it's Amazon where they've got some other guy and they go, hey, we're going to take the IP that we have, the treasure trove of IP that we have of ECW.
Yeah.
And we're going to have you go relaunch it, but not that WWECW thing. They're going to have absolutely nothing to do with each other. We're just the parent company that owns the whole thing. Go run ECW. Go run WCW. We want our own brand. Well, hey, we still think we can squeeze some nostalgia out in the old video library.
All it takes is one executive who was a fan growing up.
Yeah. I got to be honest with you. I feel like I'd do it. If I was the executive, I would look and I would say, okay, we have the video library. Great. Yeah. I'm going to bring back WCW. Bring back ECW. And I'm going to keep them completely separate, but then I'm going to have the ability to have them cross paths when need be.
Hey, the 3PW tape libraries on Amazon.
Uh-oh.
So I kind of beat them to the punch. Nah, I didn't make a penny from them.
So basically, so Amazon first bought 3PW.
Yeah.
And...
Yeah. But they bought the footage, or somebody bought the footage and put it on Amazon. The Legends of Extreme, and it's all the 3PW shows from the arena. But
yeah, do you know who bought the old TWF library?
Who?
Here it is, me right here. I've got it on.
Oh, okay.
On this this VHS-C tape right here.
Nice. But yeah, man, that and for those listening at home, we didn't have this conversation before we came on today. We both kind of we both could kind of see Amazon gobbling up WWE for content and merch, because they sell merchandise.
Again, when you look at that thing about the treasure trove of IP, that's what that IP, for anyone who doesn't know, is intellectual property. I'm sure most people know that, but intellectual property. So basically, what that means is that's characters, that's names of shows, that's in a lot of ways visuals as well. That's from graphics to just the logos and things like that. It's all anything that WWE created. Think of it this way: anything that when a wrestler leaves, they're not allowed to use. It's IP. A perfect example of IP, when WWE was trying to prove in court, when they're in a lawsuit with WCW. They were trying to prove that Razor and Diesel were their intellectual property. And as the story goes, it was Jerry McDevitt, their WWE's attorney, that suggested they have a fake Razor and Diesel to basically show Razor and Diesel, that's our intellectual property. It's not Scott Hall. It's not Kevin Nash. They can't leave and go be similar, even if you think it is like them, because this is our intellectual property and we can still have these characters. And,
right.
Never mind.
Even though, Razor Ramon is just Scarface.
Right. Scarface and the Diamond Stud. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But no, I think it's interesting. It's fun to talk about.
It's great. It's great conversation.
Yeah.
It's a lot of good fantasy booking.
Yeah.
And I already got Amazon Prime, so why not?
Seriously, it just makes it easy.
Seriously, because I would love to get one of those packages where you can watch TV, like YouTube streaming or whatever you got. There's Hulu plus live TV. That's like fucking $50 a month. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. You know, I mean, it's nothing compared to what people pay for actual cable, but still, if you can get all these platforms under an umbrella, like like I said, there's a race war for content and stuff like that. I think that's where we're heading. I don't think I think the idea of traditional cable is going to be a thing of the past in the future, and online is going to be the way to do it.
It is, and I think that as time goes on, people look at it and they're like, "Oh, well, come on, it's TV. You'll never get rid of cable." It's like it hasn't really been around that long,
Yeah,
like
it's like people who first scoffed at bottled water. Why buy something you could drink for free?
Yep.
As I take a sip of my Poland Spring right now.
Oh man. Well, I think it's food for thought, and it's exciting. There's a lot of opportunity for a lot of people, and that's really what matters. This business that you want as many people as possible to be able to make a living in this industry that we all love, and that's why the people who were released. I agree with you. I believe that it was because of them trying to cut the bottom line, or I suppose increase the bottom line. Depends on how you look at it. But they're trying to cut costs, and Braun Strowman was rumored to have signed $1 million a year contract. Whether or not that's true, who knows? But he also, wasn't making $20,000 a year. So.
Yeah, and I'm not one. I hate talking about money and what other people make because it's not my business, and I don't want anybody to know what I make because it's nobody else's business. But if he was making that much, God bless him. Yeah,
but again, he's making that much until they release him, and that's where we get into this whole other conversation for another day.
He's got 90 days. What?
Yep. I mean,
we'll see where the chips fall. There's so much cool fantasy booking, and I'm sure none of it'll happen because I still wish Miro was with Team Taz and all that shit.
Well, I think there's a good chance.
I'm still bitter about that.
That Lana is going to find her way to Miro, and she should. She should come back, get the happy, good feeling of seeing them together again, without any stupid.
They should totally do.
What's
they
that?
should totally do the. They should totally do the Randy Savage and have Liz in the crowd, and she runs in and makes a save and hug, and you see the one guy in the front row crying, his eyes out,
wearing his homemade Macho Man gear,
which I thought was like a raincoat kind of look. He looked like Paddington Bear.
And the woman with hair that looks like she went in, and they're like, "So what do you want?" And she's like, "80s." And she's got this bulbous nose that's all red because she's been crying.
Yeah.
I'll never forget those people. I never will for the rest of my life. Those people.
That's the magic of wrestling.
Yep.
Those fans in the front row. I mean, we talk about Undertaker fan. Yeah. If I say that name, you know who I'm talking about. The guy when Taker lost, just that look. But the good old days.
Yeah. And they released the guy who'd worked on the Vlad documentary. Speaking of fans.
Oh, my God, yeah. Oh, my God, that's so horrible.
Yeah, I guess the problem was they were just like, well, this guy is too talented. What the...
Yeah.
I sometimes... It's none of my business, but I would love to know where... I would love to look at the WWE roster and go, okay, why Ruby Riott? Why her over someone else? Don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody else to be fired. And there was one person was like, oh, Braun Strowman responded to someone. It was like, oh, they got rid of this one. They kept Braun Strowman. And Braun Strowman's like, I'll never understand why people root for people to get fired. And that's true. I don't want to see anybody released. What I am trying to figure out, though, is when you have as many people under contract as they have, you're taking the characters that you're putting out on television. And there's a one hand doesn't know what the other one's doing because if you're looking at it and you're going, we have a team of writers, of creative, and they have selected this person, this person, this person, this person. And that's who they believe are the very best that need to be showcased as our brand and represent our brand.
Yeah.
but you keep the people that they chose not to put on TV, and you release the people that your creative have deemed the very best of the best, because that's how it should be. If you're on Raw or SmackDown, you should be considered, that creative team should consider you, if 20 people appear on that show that night, then on that given week, that should be the top 20 people employed in the company in their minds.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why are you putting them on? And I understand, sometimes you need someone to do a job and you need someone whatever, and it's like, everybody has a position, but still, like, for that week, those should be your top people. Why are you giving them so much airtime? Like, what? I don't know. It's such a weird, convoluted thing, and I'm tired of talking. Would you like to talk a little bit by me asking you questions?
I would love to.
Why don't we do that?
It's time to ask me anything. Ask me something.
But before we do...
But.
Yeah, but, because but.
But.
All right.
Poop.
Before we do any of that, I just want to talk about our great sponsor, Manscaped.com. Fellas, how's your beach bod treating you? Manscaped is here to ensure... Manscaped's here to ensure your post-quarantine body is ready for the wild. Don't be the guy at the beach with a bear rug on your chest. And if you grew some quarantine man tits, the least you can do is make sure they're hairless. Join us. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with code Meanie20 at manscaped.com. Meanie, man, it's always a pleasure to have them as a sponsor. We appreciate it. But yeah, it's getting to be that time, man. It's, my wife's talking to me about like, hey, we could take the kids to the beach. And I'm like, all right, got to make sure. I want to shave that old the Hulk Hogan like Adam Bomb hair thing that he had back in the day when he was with Classy Freddie Blassie.
The mushroom cloud.
What? Yeah, the mushroom cloud. Thank you. But anyway, listen. Manscaped is dedicated to helping you level up your full body grooming game. They have forever changed the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the essential Lawnmower 3.0 waterproof cordless body trimmer and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your grooming routine. This is the best trimmer on the market, Meanie. You know that, I know that. Anyone who's ever used it knows that. It is the best on the market for those of you in need of a chest shave. Their third generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to advanced skin-safe technology pioneered by Manscaped. You can also adjust settings to get a length you like. You can stay on top of it with almost no effort at all. You can even trim an arrow pointing to the promised land if you're bold enough. Meanie, are you doing it?
Hey, man, look, the weather's getting warmer, and it's going to be a cruel summer. So do yourself a favor and go, cruel summer. Hopefully we don't get flagged for that, for singing somebody else's treasure trove of IP. But take care of your treasure trove of IP and go over to Manscaped. And, dude, they're a sponsor, but I believe in Manscaped so much that I've actually gone in my own pocket and paid for, like the ear and nose trimmer. I got the whole kit and caboodle, and they give it to you in this really handsome looking leather bag where you can carry your stuff. You could travel with it.
That's the thing. They come with like different travel bags, and the quality of these products is second
very
to none.
Nice.
But you're talking about where it's going to be hot. It's going to, be sure to use the crop cleanser body wash. Keep your hair and skin feeling healthy and fresh. You're definitely going to want to do that. It's something I don't know that we've even talked about the body wash before, but man, we already know about the Crop Preserver, which is a ball deodorant. It's anti-chafing ball deodorant moisturizer because we know how painful chafing can be when you're wearing your bathing suit all day. That is no freaking joke.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's no joke. That hurts like a son of a bitch. But yeah, man, I'm excited about using that, using the crop cleanser. And then you'll also find the crop reviver in there. That's a ball toner, a little testy toner that's designed to give you a pep in your step. Subscribe to the perfect package and get a new blade refill for your Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months. That is pretty cool. Because I am definitely someone who turns around and looks and goes, oh man, I should really be replacing this at some point. Now, for a limited time, subscribers get 2 free gifts. There's the Shed travel bag that Meanie talked about before. That's a $39 value.
Dude, it's so cool.
And the patent high-performance reduced chafing Manscaped boxers, which I am wearing right now. Thank you very much. And I'm not going to show you because we don't want to get kicked off here, but I'm wearing them. They feel fantastic. So get 20% off plus free shipping with the code meanie20 at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for the job. And I'm even willing to extend this, Meanie. Last week we talked about if you do manscaped.com, use the promo code meanie20, and you show us starting last week, and you send us a receipt showing that you used that, we will send you a signed concept art from our action figures.
That's awesome.
Yeah, $25 value, absolutely free. We will send it to you. And guess what? I'm in a magnanimous mood, Meanie. So I'm going to extend that through the end of June.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool, man. And that just shows you how much we believe in this product.
Yeah.
That we're willing to give away something of ours just so, you can take care of yourself and not embarrass yourself.
Yeah.
In front of your loved ones. Hey, you know what? Even all those great products, I bought the foot duster. There's a foot spray that they have that, I'm on my feet a lot. I got a lot of foot pain. I'm flat-footed, so, I got all that going on. Nothing better than taking a nice shower, and spraying that spray on my foot, and my feet feel so refreshed. At the end of the day, I just lay in bed, and I just feel so comfortable knowing that I'm taking care of, my dogs, my feet. So you got to take care of your feet if you're working hard. So, and if you're working hard and, you want to have special time with your lady, take care of the rest of yourself as well.
Yeah. I don't care. You want to spend time with your lady, with your gentleman. We are here in June. It is Pride Month, and we are we're flying that flag very proudly. But guess what? That's the beauty of Mind of the Meanie and Manscaped. I don't care who you love. Love is love is love, as they say, right? We don't care who you love.
Absolutely.
I don't care if it's a man and a man. It's a woman and a woman, a man and a woman and a man, a man, a woman, a man, and another woman. I don't care. Unless you haven't gone to manscaped.com and used the promo code meanie20, because I don't care what your deal is, your deal better be clean. That's my feeling, okay? I'm just putting that out there. I just, please, unless you're into not being clean, because this is 2021, and we're not here to hashtag kink shame, all right? So we'll respect that. But for everybody else, get 20% off and free shipping with the code meanie20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code meanie20. Trim your chesticles with the besticles. I love not reading the ad reads before the first time.
Yeah.
It's fun. Vanessa writes, Manscaped, save a bundle when you shave your grundle.
Hey.
Love it.
You're hired.
And James Sorensen apparently telling people where else they can buy the products. James, what the... I think you're missing it, James. We need them to go to manscaped.com. Use promo code meanie20. But anyway, thank you. Hey, let's ask some questions.
Absolutely.
We took to Twitter and we asked you to ask us anything. Mini Transit Antonio. What do you think went wrong with Aleister Black's run in WWE? He flourished in NXT, and then he got called up to the main roster, and they did not know what to do with him. He had everything.
Well, like we said, their one hand doesn't know what the other one's doing. Triple H is doing a very good job in NXT with talent, developing talent, and then once they go over to WWE, it seems like, okay, that was cool. Well, now we're going to do this. And you know, they just bring him back to SmackDown. They're doing really cool things with the Black Priest thing, you know, like the Dark Priest, and he's even got the one eye because he went out with an eye injury. He's got the white contact in there. He's doing these amazing vignettes and promos and stuff like that, and he's gone.
Yeah.
So it's like there's
all that time and money.
There's a disconnect between the creative and the people running talent relations. You know?
Not to mention, there was rumor going around just a couple of weeks ago that they re-signed Zelina Vega.
Yeah, that was the rumor I heard. Yeah,
I don't know if that's true or not,
but you know, it's just like the guy was away for a while. If you're going to release him, just release him. He's been out for a couple months. Just do it quietly.
Yeah.
But you went through all this to get it. You got fans excited about a character and took it away.
Yeah, but you know what? Sucks for WWE. But I look at it and I go, well, thank God they did that with him. They brought him back. They gave him a character. They got everybody excited, and then they took it away. When he shows up somewhere else, that's great for him. That's great for the other place.
Somebody else is going to benefit from WWE's ineptitude. I
think they the creative just did not know how to present him correctly. Yeah. And I also think just the way that they're, you know, unfortunately, I feel like during the pandemic, NXT has become much more like Raw and SmackDown, and less like what it used to be. And I really hope, I know they've got their Capitol Wrestling Center and all that stuff. I hope they go back to Full Sail soon and get back to that atmosphere, because there is something really special there. And what was special there is what sometimes doesn't
translate.
It doesn't translate. But and I mean, like Travis, our Patreon member here, is talking about how it made 0 sense, and Braun was in the main event of their last pay-per-view.
It's insane. That's what I'm saying. There's a disconnect somewhere. I would love to know. I mean, Aleister Black, a.k.a. Tommy End, went on Twitter and said, I'm trying to
wrap his head around it.
Yeah.
And you know what? From the way Bruce Pritchard's told stories in the past of things, he would tell stories of like when they're writing TV, they're doing whatever, and McMahon would walk in and go, we don't have so-and-so anymore. Done. That's it.
Yeah.
They're out. And it's like,
it's like a movie where somebody gets whacked. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. But then
there's nothing we could do, Jimmy.
TV. Yeah, they'd have to rewrite TV. They'd have to do whatever. And so, to me, in a lot of ways, that's what it feels like.
It's like when Joe Pesci got whacked at Goodfellas. Nothing we could do, Jimmy. He's gone. You know, we don't have so and so anymore. He's gone.
Mini Transit had another question as well.
Sure.
Say hypothetically, Disney does buy WWE. How different would WWE look under the Disney umbrella? Now, you touched base on this a little bit with the idea of how much would they be cutting out of the old library. But what do you think as far as modern day, like WWE, the product, the show? Do you think anything would really change?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Would they think to hire wrestling folks to write a wrestling show, or would they bring in their TV people who, like I said, that's the problem with bringing in TV people to write for a live action thing. You have to predict what a crowd is going to react at a certain moment, not to something that was written for canned laughter. You can't pretend.
Yeah, you can't pretend that pro wrestling is anything other than pro wrestling. It is a very unique art form.
It's a world of its own, where a lot of times you have to edit on the fly.
And what's amazing is you'd get, like, you remember the Super Bowl commercial back in the day with McMahon at the very end going, "Get it?" Like, that's I feel like he doesn't get it. Because, like, that was the point when you're saying "get it" was, These people be like, well, I don't understand. Is it real sports? I don't understand. Is it theater? I don't. And it's like, no, it's wrestling. It is its own thing that you want to put into this box of one or the other, but you can't, and it's confusing. It is. It's very weird. I remember this A&E documentary way back, God, when I was in high school, and I remember this line like it was yesterday of Ric Flair. They're showing Ric Flair walking backstage in WCW, and they say they're like the unlike when you meet Tom Cruise, and he's not the character he plays, he's Tom Cruise. The Ric Flair you meet is the same guy that was just out in the ring. And we know there's, levels of that, but especially Ric Flair is a great example of that. But that's the thing. It's a weird dynamic because, for instance, if this was a television show, like some drama show that we watch on, an Aleister Black, they kill off the character or they make him move away or whatever it is. No one's going to be like, you might be like, I wonder where the actor's going to go next, but no one's going to be like, I wonder where Aleister Black's going to go next. Right? And we're not wondering where the actor's going to go exactly. We're wondering where this character is going to go. Mm-hmm. This character is now going to leave and go to another program, which is really weird. Like, that doesn't exist in any other form of entertainment, where you can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, some people become synonymous with the characters, and then, in Hollywood, some actors become so big that they become bigger than their characters as well. Like
Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like a thing. Yeah. It's like Jason Statham. It's a Jason Statham movie.
Yeah, where they go to describe the movie and they go, oh, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger does this. Not, oh, the Terminator did this. But in wrestling, the character, the person is the character. Is like, Ric Flair is Ric Flair, no matter what, as Frankie Williams would say on Piper's Pit. But, it's a very unique situation.
James Sorensen writes, if someone else had the rights to the IP Blue Meanie, would you want to have the IP? I mean, you do, but yeah. I mean, that's right. Absolutely. Yeah. Because that's what we're talking about. That's exactly the idea is, the Blue Meanie, because you were the Blue Meanie and you have the rights to that, and there's ECW Blue Meanie, there's WWE Blue Meanie. But imagine that you had to just be something else, like you had to come out as like the green, not nice guy, like that's, but back in the day, see, here's the thing. I bet WWE would have, they wouldn't have been able to. I was going to say, if you left WWE and you went to WCW, but they wouldn't have had to let you stand
in my booking contract with WWE, it clearly states the Blue Meanie is intellectual property of Brian Heffron.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is I wonder if they would have tried to fight it.
No.
But they wouldn't have, the same way Raven and Stevie Richards showed up and,
Yeah.
But again, that's why ownership of the IP is so important. Because like Meanie said, it was very clear in the contract. They were basically, WWE was, part of your contract was paying you like a fee to license your likeness and your IP and all of that. And in some ways it's in perpetuity, things like the network being able to air, and in other ways they can't. Because they can't find some other guy and have him come to the ring as the Blue Meanie. So it's.
But I don't care if they put me on some kind of DVD and I get a nice little check every few months. So. That's why I really don't bitch. I still get checks from them. So.
Yeah. Give a shit. Yeah. Let them put you on as much as they possibly can.
Dude, those breakdowns are so weird. It's just crazy. If you look through them and read them, it's funny. But, yeah.
Ringside Rant writes, do you think there'll be recently released WWE stars at AEW All Out in September? Also, who do you think will beat Omega for the titles eventually?
Ooh. I mean, I would like to see Tommy End there, but, Everybody's, just because everybody wants him to join the Dark Order probably means it won't happen. Right. So,
well, that's if it was WWE. AEW might give it to you.
What did I say?
What?
Did I say AEW?
No. You just said they. They probably won't give it to you.
I thought maybe I minced my words because I'm my lack of sleep. I'd love to see Aleister Black with Danhausen.
Oh man, that'd be so fun.
And start their own faction in Ring of Honor. That'd be fucking great.
That would be awesome.
Very evil.
He just so. I mean, Aleister Black is a guy. He's got so much upside,
dude. I
so does everyone. Every single person that was released has incredible upside, which is why
that's why people are upset.
Yeah.
I did a show with Tommy End a couple, maybe right before he signed with WWE over in England, and that's the connection he has with the fans. It's amazing.
As far as in my opinion, I think you're going to get at least one person showing up at All Out,
of course,
because they know everyone's expecting it.
As Tony Khan would say, you can't sign everybody,
right?
Or
you become WCW.
Pretty much. Back in the day before AEW, somebody got fired. Oh, they're going to TNA.
Right.
I was going to say this joke earlier. I totally forgot it, but it's like I still call Impact TNA the way somebody still calls the 13th floor, not the 14th floor. It's like you could try to call the 13th floor the 14th floor, but when you're on that 14th floor, you're on the 13th floor. Every hotel takes the 13th floor off the elevator button. You know what floor you're on. Assholes.
As far as who's going to take the title from Omega, I have no idea.
Who knows?
I would love to see it be Jungle Boy. Honestly. I don't know that he's ready.
You know what? I got to go back to next week. Somebody asked me a question. I kind of made a shitty answer. Like, I don't care. Because I'm just so tired of, like, wrestling. But then, like, I'm not tired of wrestling, but,
I got you.
Pandemic wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. But then I watched the AEW pay-per-view, and I kind of got this new energy. And when I heard Jungle Boy's music, using real music, using Tarzan Boy coming out, watching the fans sing with it, I was like, that guy's a fucking star.
Yeah.
I just wish he would beef up a little bit.
I mean, look, it's he's so young still,
Look, I'm not going to go Jim Cornette on it, way he goes off on people, like Marco Stunt and stuff like that. It's like, he's young, he's still developing. But, if you just, it's an upper body business, kid.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good kid who has a lot of potential. He could be a big star for them. Looking at it on a larger
level. He already
level
is, yeah.
No, but I mean, looking at it on a larger level when it comes to, interacting outside of wrestling and stuff, there's a lot of potential there, especially because of who he is, being the son of Luke Perry. There's that instant
crossover
appeal, right? Where people who aren't really familiar very much with wrestling, they're going to know whose son he is, and they're now going to go, okay, well, God, I love Luke Perry. Well, he can't be all bad. Let's talk to him. Oh, he's a great kid. Maybe I should try this wrestling thing. Like it's.
And I know people break JR's balls about calling him Jungle Boy Jack Perry, but they should call him Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's got a ring to it. It's got a good cadence.
Yeah,
I wrestling names are all about cadence. It's got
also
a great
Jim
cadence.
Ross. Jim Ross calls you something. Yeah, let's see. Texas Rattlesnake, that didn't get over. Cerebral Assassin, yeah, that was bad. That one never worked. Killed the career. Killed the gimmick. Sometimes when JR just off the cuff refers to somebody as something, just fucking run with it. You know, like. Just go with it.
Yeah. What's he know?
Yeah. Who'd he ever beat?
Who'd he ever book?
Chris writes, has a wrestling promoter ever refused to pay Josh or the Blue Meanie on the indies? And what can a wrestler do in that situation?
Break his fucking thumbs. It's never always I'm not paying you.
Yeah, it was never like no one ever refused. We were just flat out like told, like, the house was light tonight, brother. Get you next time, brother.
the guy switches the battle royal to the main event while everybody's in the ring. He runs out the back fucking door,
Yep.
or fakes a heart attack. That's the infamous promoter faking a heart attack. Where, hey, before you die, can you give me my check? And if he dies, you don't have to worry about him canceling it on you.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
nobody's ever outright going, I'm not paying you. It's always just like a bullshit thing. And if you're going to promote a show, you should have that money before you even fucking sell one ticket.
Yep. Yep.
I tell everybody before you run a wrestling show, you're $5,000 in the hole.
Yeah.
Just
I agree. You have
arena, ring, insurance, talent.
I'm very proud of the fact that when I ran shows, there's not a single person that can tell you that they didn't walk out of there with an envelope with exactly what they were told, if not more.
Yeah.
And that's just, I think it's that's how you should be as a person. It's how you should be in any form of business. It's, you give someone your word. That's it. But as far as what can a wrestler do in that situation, don't go back there.
Yeah, don't go back.
That's unfortunately that's it, right? That's the only thing you can do.
The wrestlers have the power. If you don't give these fucking shitty promoters oxygen, they'll go away.
The problem is,
but by not paying good talent goes away, and they start booking shitty talent who wants this folks who just want to be on a show to tell their 20 friends, hey, I'm wrestling on Billy Bob Joe's, show, come watch me. And the shows get bad, and then the paying customers who want to come see good wrestling see bad wrestling, and it burns the town, and people don't want to go watch anything that's promoted in that area ever again. So, what can you do? Consider it a lesson. It's like a Bronx Tale when Colugio is chasing the guy for $20, and Chaz Palminteri goes, "What are you chasing that guy for? He owes me $20." And he says, "Well, for $20, you don't have to worry about seeing that guy for the rest of your life for that $20." So if you get a booking for $100 and that guy stiffs you, well, for $100, you don't have to worry about working for a shitty promoter. It's a lesson learned. You either, you're always, everything in wrestling's a lesson, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Mark and Dryden writes, do either of you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? And if so, what are some of your favorite episodes?
Dude, I don't watch it as much as I should because, they film in my fucking neighborhood.
We talked about it before. I know we've mentioned this before. Like, I'm way behind.
Me too. But that just means you got more to binge.
I know. But I kind of want to start from the very beginning.
Me too.
Also.
There's that Christmas special where Charlie Day just looks at Santa and goes, "Did you fuck my mom?" or something like that. He starts tripping out and he thinks Santa, fucked his mom. He starts beating the shit out of Santa or something like that. But there's like some scene where they go to somebody's house that they were shitty to, and that house is like a 2-minute walk from my house. It's bizarre. Like they open the door and I see the street and I'm like, oh shit, there's one scene where Dee hops out of the car and like City Pizza's right behind her, which is like 16th in Oregon or 17th in Oregon. I'm like, oh shit, I know that, but yeah, there's so much good shit. Probably, I liked when they had the fake Donovan McNabb when they were trying out for the Eagles. The gang joins the Philadelphia Eagles or whatever, and then there's the episode about the secret tunnel that went from the Holiday Inn to the stadium, and they were getting lost in the basement of the Holiday Inn.
They've had such amazing. I love the one with the I forget what it was called, but the one about where they fight over who's paying tribute to each other, like when they're at the restaurant. It just cracked me up so much.
There's so many good moments on that show. Yeah,
I've put myself over before about this, but I am. You and
the Blair Witch.
Yes, you can find me in the first season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I was a stand-in for Charlie Day, which meant that, and I ended up standing in for all of them at one point, as people would just like not show up to do stand-in work. But originally I was a stand-in for Charlie, which meant that I was hired to literally stand in his place where they would set, they'll pull the measuring tape and they'll set the distance, they'll set the lighting. And I remember
the blocking.
Yes. I remember the coolest thing that I got to do. Now, this was season 1 and it was before it ever aired. So I wasn't a fan of the show. I didn't know who any of the guys were because it hadn't happened yet, but they were all really cool. And I remember there is a walk down in the episode Charlie Got Molested, where he's walking down the hallway of his house, and it's like right before he walks in, and then you see everyone's there with like his uncle and like all that stuff. So where everyone was with the uncle, that was, not to ruin everything for everybody, break kayfabe, but that was a sound stage. None of those actors were there. But the house, from the outside walking down the house, that was a real house in Philadelphia. And so they had, like, at the end of the hall was a bathroom, and that's where they had all their lights set up. So when he walks in, it looks like it's hitting him, like the sun is hitting him. It's just a light that was there. And that was my job, they basically had me run it a bunch of times while they set the camera, while they set all that. And then Charlie came in, and then I basically just showed him, like, he's like, okay, he like watched me do it once. I mean, I'm sure it would have been once or twice if it was more complicated than just freaking walking, but he watched me do it once. You showed him the ropes. What's that?
You showed him the ropes.
Yeah, I showed him the ropes. I was like, all right, kid. No, and I did that, and then, they would say, stand-ins out, principals in, and he came in and did his thing, and it was an amazing experience, and those guys asked me while I'm, like, hanging out there, like, hey, would you like to be an extra, too? I'm like, yeah, and I, like, knew they were actors. I didn't know they were in charge of the whole thing, so I ended up, I made a lot more money than I was supposed to, because also I got paid, it's incredible the amount, I got paid extra because it, like, drizzled for a minute. Like the tiniest amount of rain. I didn't even get wet, and they paid me extra. There was one scene where they wanted a bunch of extras just standing on the corner with this one guy, and they would be standing on the corner of the one guy smoking a cigarette, right? And last minute, they're like, no, instead of like me, they were like, do this guy instead, right? Look totally different than me. I guess it was just a different look. I was so pissed. Not because I didn't get to be on film, but because they pay you more for like smoke pay. If you're in a scene with someone who's smoking, you get paid more. And if you're smoking in the scene, you get even paid more than that. It's incredible. So I'm like, I don't, my back can be to the camera. Can I just be in this to get more money? The fact that I had to wear my own, they didn't have wardrobe for me. They had me wear my own clothes. I got paid like a wardrobe fee. They like gave me extra money because I brought my own. It was so neat. It was so cool, the experience. And then I was in college and the next year they called me, said I was requested to come back to do stand-in work for Charlie again. And I'm like, oh, when is it? I had a final at a test that I had to take. I'm like, unfortunately I can't. Never got called again. Did not know that Danny DeVito would have been in it. Did not that's a regret. Not that I was trying to make a career as a stand-in, but I easily could have made a career. This show's been on for 40 years. Like I easily could have made not a career, but a little part-time gig every year when they come to Philly to film their exteriors. I could have been doing that, but but instead,
Charlie.
What's that?
You could have been Charlie Afternoon.
I could have been Charlie.
You could have.
But yeah, so I love the show.
I was bad,
and I'm over.
Yeah, man.
And if you can find, I will give you you'll get signed concept art to anybody who can find a screenshot of me. I'll give you a hint. I am in a scene. Well, you see me.
Don't make it easy.
It's in a scene with Dennis and Dee. Now, you can see me in other ones as well, so all those will count. But the one where it's like very clearly me is in a scene with Dennis and Dee, and that's all I'm going to say. Told you what season it was.
Sweet.
So there. So go watch that, and we'll send you some free concept art if you can find it. Tweet us at MindofTheMeanie. Last question for you, Meanie, came again from Mark and Dryden. What was the loudest
Word.
crowd reaction to a surprise wrestler Meanie ever heard in ECW?
Holy shit. Oh, man. There's a couple huge pops in ECW, but Pillman was a good one. Fucking Sandman returning from WCW was nuclear.
Yeah.
Hot. Talk about, I mean, like, just the pop. It was just, like, insane. Probably the biggest pops in ECW Arena were for, the Pebbles double dog collar match when they beat Stevie and Raven. That was a huge fucking pop. Gary Wolf coming back from his neck injury to beat the shit out of Shane Douglas. Huge pop. But it's Pillman. But I'll have to go with Sandman return from WCW. That's probably the loudest ECW reaction I've heard.
Very cool.
Just insane. Like, you feel the concrete below your feet going. If I could do a little audio, like an audio book. Yeah, you felt your feet just fucking, tingle.
Well, thank you all very much for those
Absolutely.
questions. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Before we wrap things up, I want to tell everybody, first of all, check out mindofthemeanie.com. It's new.
Please.
We've got tons of stuff on there. You can go watch Meanie Toons episodes 1 and 2 right there on mindofthemeanie.com. You can listen to the podcast right there on mindofthemeanie.com. Links for our action figures, links for our shirts over ProWrestlingTees.com/mindofthemeanie. Pretty much this whole thing is just to make it a little bit easier on me, where I only have to say go to mindofthemeanie.com. But and links to join us on Patreon. You'll find those as well. But something else you're going to find is a list of appearances. And definitely want to talk to you guys for a minute about that. We've got August 7th. We will be in person at Brothers Gatter Studio and Store, 4317 Main Street, Port Henry, New York, 12974. That's 4317 Main Street, Port Henry, New York, 12974. Brothers Gator Studio and Gatter Studio and Store. I can't say it right. They're gonna whoop my ass. We're gonna be there doing an in-person meet and greet and signing of our new wrestling buddies. On August 7th from it says 1:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Mountain Time. So have fun figuring that one out. So I think it's I believe that would be 12:30 Eastern for us here. Here I'll read directly from their site for all of you about the event. The Blue Meanie and Josh Shernoff will be there August 7th, 2021 at the Brothers Gatter Studio and Store from 1:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Eastern. They say they are honored to host Meanie and Josh from Mind of the Meanie for a unique meet and greet and buddy signing event. We'll be hanging out with them for the day as we talk wrestling, art, family, and maybe even legendary monsters. That's right. Look into that. There's a legendary monster around there.
Nice.
Your ticket for the event, this is what's important. Ticket for the event includes Blue Meanie and or Josh Shernoff collector wrestling buddies signed in person. Their mind and body sticker, which is so freaking cool.
Yeah.
It looks like Krang and his suit from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's awesome. And they drew that themselves. And then also you get the 8x10 of original artwork of Blue Blot, as they called it, which is an awesome image. We've shared it on our social media. You get a photo op with your personal camera, and you get the meet and greet with Meanie and myself and the Brothers Gatter crew.
Nice.
Now, there's also an option to do this, and I'll try and bring this up right now. There's also an option, if you can't be there in person, to do it virtually. And that's exciting, if I can get this to load. There we go. Basically, you're going to be doing from 10:30 to 1 it'll be an online virtual meet and greet and live buddy signing. So if you order the buddy, you can't be there in person, we'll chat with you. I think they're going to have like a nice big screen set up, and we're going to chat with you, and you'll end up getting that video. And then you'll watch us sign all the stuff, and then you'll still get all those same things, the sticker, the artwork, the buddies, and it'll all be signed. And you'll watch us do it from afar, and it'll be mailed to you, and that'll be really exciting. So we're really excited about that. It's gonna be really cool. Our game plan is to record the podcast from the place there that day, really early in the morning. I think it's gonna be. So lots of coffee, but it should be a blast. And
put that in a rider that we need carafes of coffee.
Yes, I think they've got us covered. So we're really looking forward to that, and I really hope that any of our pod squad will be able to come out and join us. That would be awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm very excited. Having a wrestling buddy's always been on my bucket list, and this is just another cool thing I get to do. And it's cool that we get to. It's very cool we get to do this together, just like the cello toys and everything like that.
Well, and that's the really cool thing about this too is and I don't mean this to be self-deprecating or there are people out there, believe it or not, who might want a Blue Meanie wrestling buddy, but don't really want a Josh Shernoff wrestling buddy. And I'm not offended by that. In fact, I think you might be normal. But that's the cool thing about this is, unlike where we forced you to get a Josh Shernoff wrestling figure along with the Blue Meanie, with this one, you do have the option to just get Meanie. Or if you're, my mom, you could just get mine. But you do have the option to buy them separately. Which is really cool too, because it's nice that it kind of is a 2-for-1. It's representative of Meanie's career as the Blue Meanie in the BWO, while also having the ability to get it in this package with the whole Mind of the Meanie stuff. So it's really cool, and I'm just honored to be a part of it, and honored that they want us there and like want to make a whole big event out of it. And so yeah, guys, make sure that you show up virtually or in person. If you're planning to get the buddies, just show up. Just do it. Yeah. We want to see you there. We want to support the Gatter Brothers studio there. And also while you're there, man, you might find some great art. They've got amazing stuff. So you'd be pleasantly surprised. And it seems like it's going to be a pretty happening weekend there.
Shindig.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of events going on right around there on Main Street, so definitely check it out. And again, you can follow the link at mindofthemeanie.com. We'll take you to all the information you've ever needed. So go now. So Meanie, that's about it for us here.
This is a good show. A fun show.
This was a good show. This was a lot of fun. Some good conversation.
I had to use my brain.
Yeah, we've been in here for 63 weeks, and
hey,
when we hit, I was gonna say when we hit 83 weeks, can we line that up to be one of the times when James comes on? I was gonna say Bischoff, but I mean having his best friend is almost as good, right?
Yeah.
So
it's kind of.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe James will want to call. Maybe he can call his friend Eazy-E and see if he can get him on the show. But for 83 weeks.
That's so funny.
Hey, everybody, if you'd be so kind, follow us on social media at Mind of the Meanie. And Meanie, you got a wince there. Everything okay?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm just old.
The old. Is it the knees? Is it the back?
It's a little bit of column A, a little bit of everything.
Well, hey, follow us on social media at Mind of the Meanie. Follow us as individuals if you would be ever so kind. He is at Blue Meanie BWO. I am at So Says Shernoff. You can go grab a cameo from us if you'd like. We're always happy to say hello. Blue Meanie is over at cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO, where you will find video after video after video of all these amazing cameos he's done. I'm over at cameo.com/so says Shernoff, where you will find a video. So definitely go visit us there. We'd love to wish your loved ones a happy graduation or whatever the hell it is you want us to do. What else? Oh, yeah. I did mention before over at Mind of the Meanie's YouTube, youtube.com/Mind of the Meanie, you can watch a brand new Talking with Friends, which is a fun one. If you're getting used to and enjoying, if you're not that one person and you're enjoying me and my friends and some of the stories we tell of back in the day, we've gotten more and more videos that we put up with it. So as we're telling the story, you're able to actually see some of it, which is pretty cool. And we are overwhelmed by how many of you are actually downloading this, watching it, and listening. Tons of people listening, which is really cool. If you
That's awesome.
If you're listening to this, it's been downloaded for you because it's on the Mind of the Meanie feed. But I would say, man, more people have to watch, because if you're taking the time to listen, which I really appreciate, try to carve out some time to watch, or at least skim through until you see some of those videos, because it's worth it. It just to see me at 19 years old, I think is worth it. Oh, what else, Meanie? Oh, yeah, ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. We've got ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie and ProWrestlingTees.com/So Says Shernoff. Get all of our fun merch over there. It's the summertime, so there's going to be tons of sales happening. Make sure if you go over to adfreeshows.com, we had a great episode honoring the late New Jack. For That Was Extreme, along with our good friend Joel Gertner, and throw some if you have it in you, throw some money or at least a share for New Jack's GoFundMe. The great shirts available at Pro Wrestling Tees now. There's an official New Jack page, and Collar and Elbow have an awesome shirt that Meanie, I believe, was wearing last week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so definitely do that. And I'm going off the top of my head here, but I think I've covered pretty much.
I think you've covered everything.
I think I got it at this point. 63
well done,
weeks in. Thank you. Thank you.
Well done, Shernoff.
I appreciate that. Yeah, well, I did everything except for the close. Hey, Meanie, any last things you'd like to say before we go?
Like I say each and every week, thank you very much for your support. We are nothing without you. And we see the numbers, and we're constantly blown away by the folks that, download and watch the videos and all that good stuff. And just the interaction with our pod squad, whether it's online or in our private Facebook Patreon group. Our Patreon Facebook group, First Day with the New Mouth. My apologies. But I know we keep talking about the Patreon, but don't feel left out. Join the Patreon. Very reasonable rates, and join our community. I mean, you're a part of the pod squad anyway. Why not make it official? Get the paperwork.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, we have a good thing going over there on Patreon with our pod squad, our community, and we see new friendships being forged. Total strangers becoming
friends. Which is the
friends.
coolest part. That's really the coolest part.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and every month when we have these Zoom calls, they're great. So, we talk about everything, but come on over to Patreon, patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Come and knock on our door.
Come and knock on our door.
We've been waiting for you.
We've been waiting for you with these brand new figures from Cella Toys. That's the one thing I forgot. So go to mindofthemeanie.com and pick up your Cella Toys. They are sold out at JB Toys and Collectibles, and they are possibly sold out at Cella Toys. I think they were, but I think they had like a couple more they were getting, and then I don't know if those are sold out or not, but let's pretend they are. So, yeah, if you're inside the U.S., shipping is included. If you're outside the U.S., be prepared to pay a lot of shipping. But we will still send it to you. But you'll also be getting an email first saying, hey, so listen. But yeah, love these figures. Cella is knocking it out of the park. They're doing an amazing job. More to come from Cella. More to come from Mind of the Meanie.
Hopefully.
Maybe. But you know what? There's
I'm
definitely
Ron Burgundy.
There's definitely more to come from Mind of the Meanie. Like episode 64, next Monday, just like every Monday, when we take another trip into the mind of the Meanie.
Blue World Order. The world of MLW radio never stops.